Everybody gets along. So I want to ask you a question. Can you give a compliment and not really mean it?
Yes.
Yeah. Sure can. Can you apologize and not really mean it?
Yes.
How many have kids? You know what I'm talking about. Apologize to your brother. I'm sorry. No, really mean it. I'm sorry, you're my brother. So there's a way, there's behavior, there's what we do. There's what we do on the top, right? But there's something deeper than that. There's our way of being. There's something that's deeper than that. Sometimes you can tell when someone isn't really being real or open or honest, or they say all the right stuff, right? They do all the right stuff. Maybe you work for them, maybe you, I was going to do a marriage joke again. I should be careful, my wife's in the room. But the whole thing about being authentic. So there's behavior, what we say and do and think and act on. But then there's a way of being. And I want to share with you two ways of being. There's really only two. There's seeing people as people, namaste, and there's seeing people as objects. And when you see a person as an object, well, it's kind of like you're resistant to their reality. You're resistant to their lies. And I want to share that with you because it's a sticky point here, because I don't want to see a show of hands, but some of us have difficult people in our lives. So can I hear a hallelujah? We get difficult people in our lives. So I want to share with you a quote. Difficult people are not failed attempts at being me. Difficult people are not failed attempts at being me. So I want to tell you a little story about encountering an object, an obstacle person, a person that was in my way, resisted me. I had the great opportunity to fly as a public professional speaker, and I get to fly around the world and do my thing and all that kind of stuff. I love airports generally, but there's a little, the little piece of the airport that kind of gets my goat is called the security checkpoint. And I was in a big hurry. I was coming back from Ireland. I was doing some work in Northern Ireland. I was coming back, and my rental car was a little bit late getting in, and I had to catch a flight to Heathrow to get back to Halifax. And I actually had a conference the next day, so I only had the one flight from Halifax. And then the conference the next day was my wife's association. If I was late, I would not only miss speaking, I would probably spend the week on the couch. So the stakes are high, is what I'm saying. So I got the security checkpoint gal of all security checkpoint gals. You ever go to a really important meeting or a big medical appointment, you get all the red lights? I got the red light security checkpoint gals. My bag slides through, and I got the 5 words no one wants to hear. Is this your bag, sir? Nope, not my bag. Sorry, I've never seen a bag in my life. Of course, the bag went through, and she puts on the gloves. Is this? She's going to a wedding or a ball, and she checks my bags. And by this time, I'm going over the roof. You can't show it. You can't inside. I'm going. But on the outside, I'm just going. Yeah, okay. Thank you. And then, so she's become my difficult person. She's become an object to me. I don't see her as a person anymore, do I? She's not a person doing her job. She's an object to me. She's an obstacle to me, in fact. So I thought, this is crazy. I'm getting upset. I'm getting annoyed. I'm going to miss my flight. I'm going to blame it on this nasty person, this difficult person that's during my day. Then I caught something out of the corner of my eye. On her vest was a little lapel pin, a little pink ribbon. And she was the bane of my existence until that second. I looked at the pink ribbon and I thought, I wonder if she has it. I wonder if she knows somebody that has it. Then I thought about my friend Karen, who was just diagnosed. Then I realized, she's just a human doing her job. So a little emotional. Karen actually died, so I'm a little emotional about that. Anyway, the point I'm trying to make is that all of a sudden this person that was in my face resisting me became a human again. And when she handed back my boarding pass, I looked her in the eye and I said, "Ma'am, I want to thank you for how you so carefully checked our bags so we could fly safely in the skies today." And she sort of took a step back. She said, "Oi, we don't get many people saying that." Well, 5 minutes earlier, I said, "Well, I bet you don't, lady." At that moment, that difficult person, the bane of my existence, the person that was not me, was a human again. I saw her as a person. I saw her. I saw her. So here's my question as a motivational speaker. Who's in your life that you can't find humanity in? Who's that difficult person that's under your skin? You know how they get under your skin? How they get under your skin that drive you nuts? Find something human about them and try to see them as a person, not as an object. Number 2, emotional connection, see people as people. Number 3 is the mental dimension of energy. Now, the mental dimension of energy is kind of based on the 10-90 principle. The 10-90 principle is sort of the idea that what if life is 10% what happens to you and 90% what you do about it, what you think about it. Life can be seen that way. Some people have it backwards, and they have a little pity party, and that's okay for them. But if life can be seen as 10% what happens to you, 90% what you do, but I want to share with you a story that illustrates a point around how you have a choice. I think that's one of the biggest things with living well is every day you have a choice. You can always choose. And sometimes we forget that, and we think we're being done by in life circumstances and that kind of stuff, but there's a choice. And I want to give you the little 10% event that happens because stuff happens, right? We get married, we get divorced, we get jobs, we get fired, we get kids that get sick. Life happens. That 10% of things go down. And what you do with it is your power. I want to give you a little example of how that works. My wife and I met again after 18 years of being apart. We dated 18 years earlier in 2006. We got married in 2007, July 7, 2007. We're the only couple in Canada getting married that day. It was great. It was not a popular day. And we tried for a baby. We did in vitro, we had a miscarriage, and it just didn't work. So we gave up and got a puppy. It's a reasonable hand-on vaccine, believe me. They poop, they got food needs, all this kind of stuff, right? So the weekend we took the puppy home was September long weekend of 2008. We got a 10% event happening to us. It was a phone call. A 10% nut, the little penny we have that drops in your lap sometimes when stuff happens. The 10% event was a call from my wife's twin sister, Angela. And Angela asked us a question that was our 10% event. The question was this: if a baby dropped in your lap, would you keep it? And we said, what's going on? She had found out about a baby, that a friend of a friend of a friend. 16-year-old girl was having a baby in November, December, and wanted to make an adoption plan and was seeking parents to do that. My wife's twin sister wrote a profile on us. The young mom accepted our profile and proved us to be the birth parents, the adopted parents. So we got a baby coming. And that's a 10% going down, you know what I'm saying? 10% is going down. So here's the 90% choice that you have, folks, and then I'll tell you my story and see if you can connect to it. Within that 90%, there are really two options. Gratitude to gratitude, which is wow, this is incredible, or something called stinking thinking. You know stinking thinking? Self-doubt, fear, false evidence appearing real, fear, false evidence appearing real, guilt, maybe shame, I don't know. Just stinking thinking, stuff that mind-trap stuff, that just saying negativity kind of stuff. Now, I'm a bit inclined to this, so I started on a little bit of a path of stinking thinking. I call it stinking thinking because it makes a better country song. Stinking thinking. I love country songs. I actually started to write a song called I Got Stinking Thinking on the Road to Pity City. I don't have the rest of the verse yet, but I love country songs. So here's my stinking thinking. Our first meeting with the social worker was in September. We had to fast track a couple of processes to have the baby approved for us to be a good parents and all that kind of stuff. And the first stinking thinking settled in when the social worker said, I think I'll just let you know that 50% of the moms who make it an adoption plan after the baby's born change their mind. Now I get a 50-50 chance. I can say, well, it's not going to happen. She's going to come to us for stinking thinking. The second little round of stinking thinking I got was I heard that the birth dad gave her a ring. Now we didn't know which finger went on, but we heard that she got a ring. I thought, oh. Now how stinking thinking plays out in life is something really practical, folks. I bought a crib, and then I went and bought a crib, and I kept the box. Just in case, little stinking thinking. And the stinking thinking really hit home when I had to reveal we had to do medicals on each other, and I had to reveal my medical history. And I was diagnosed with Parkinson's disease in 2005, so I've had it for about 5 years. And I thought to myself, you know, this teenager's not going to like the fact that I have Parkinson's disease. She's going to picture me dropping the baby. She's going to picture me in a wheelchair. She's going to picture me, you know, she's not going to like that. So I made up a whole story about how she would reject me to be a fit parent because of Parkinson's. Stinking thinking. It's all stinking thinking. And you know the funny thing about stinking thinking is, whatever's going to happen, happens, no matter how you think about it. Like, it doesn't matter how many stinking thinking I put in my... In fact, what I call it sitting on joy. If you have enough stinking thinking, you sit on joy. You make a good country song, but you're sitting on joy. And it wasn't until she was born, oh, here we go. My heart's got blue. She was born November 28th, and in the law in Nova Scotia says you have to wait 2 weeks in a foster family, so the mother can change her mind. A stinking thinking person, that's 2 weeks in hell. On December the 16th, we took her home. It was a cold, dingy, nasty, brutal, blah, Nova Scotian day, but my heart was absolutely alive because the stinking thing had lifted off because that 10% event had happened. That's my story. I'm a proud dad. You want to see a picture? Every dad has a picture. Oh. We kept the puppy. And I recycled that damn box. Stinking thinking, folks. So up until this moment, that's just a proud dad showing off his daughter, but I'm a motivational speaker. So here's my question for you. Is there somewhere in your life where you're still sitting on joy because you're letting stinking thinking take over? That's it. The third key of living well is the key of giving gratitude and giving thanks. If you can find the thanks, then you've got the joy. And you can't be thankful for something. If you can't be thankful for it, it'll run your life until you are. I'll say that again. If you can't be thankful for it, it'll run your life until you are. Third key. Fourth key, the physical dimension, the spirit. What is it? Spiritual, right? Spiritual dimension of energy. I had the great honor I have a hero. Sherman Hillary. Sherman Hillary went to the top of the world's highest mountain in 1953, one of the 20th century's greatest achievements, one of the greatest human feats of the 20th century in 1953. He went to the top of the mountain, and I had the great honor of following his footsteps, folks. I got my backpack, I got my gear, and in 2001 I went to the country of Nepal, and I went all the way to the bottom of Mount Everest. Thank you very much. I made it to the bottom. It was a great view. Made it to the bottom. And I met these folks. Can you make the fellow out? He's a Sherpa guy. Look very carefully. No, the lights are fine. Lights are fine. I'd rather have you see what's going on than this. But anyway, there's a picture of a guy who's walking up the hill, and he's got bare feet. He's carrying a load. He's a hero. But he's a particular kind of hero, folks. He's a servant leader. He's carrying a big load of pipes for someone to get water in the mountains. And that load of pipes is going to be helping someone drink fresh water. And the servant heroes that I want to talk about are the people that I work with every day. They're called the unsung heroes. And the unsung heroes do what they do with a big heart, with little recognition, and sometimes very little pay. Like early childhood educators, like nurses, for example. Those are big-hearted people. And I have the honor of training those folks and working with them, doing keynotes at their associations all across the country, from California to Ireland, across Canada. And I love them, because they are the salt of the earth and the heart of the world. Because they're connected to the spiritual dimension of energy, folks. They have a big heart that serves something greater than themselves. When you can serve something greater than yourself, you get the honor of having this quote dedicated for you by Martin Luther King. Because everyone has a power for greatness, not for fame, but for greatness, because greatness is determined by service. You know, one of the greatest gifts of the world is to be able to give to others, to give to something greater than yourself. And I know if you've volunteered, you'll know what that's all about. But I'm also trying to bring that ethic into the work culture, because people get disconnected at work. They think when they don't face the client or they don't face the front lines, and I work with a lot of government, so they're like 1, 2, 3 degrees of separation, right, from Joe and Josephine Citizen. So they lose the plot. And when they lose the plot, it's really sad, because when they lose the plot, they lose their juice for life. Because your juice for life comes from when you serve another person. I'm just thinking about the people in Haiti. I'm in basket cases and maybe my heart's so wide open now, it's crazy. Think about all those orphans out in Haiti. So, I have a genetic disorder, it's called inspiritis. When I get inspired, I get inflamed, and my tears start to drip out. So inspiritis, here we go. Thank you for being here for that reason, because you are, by definition, you're an unsung hero for the kids in Haiti, because they will never meet you. They don't know your name, they don't know how you help, they know you help because they see the Red Cross people on the streets in front of them, but they don't know you. So you folks are unsung heroes. Viktor Frankl put it very beautifully in his book, Man's Search for Meaning. He said that the thing that helped people get through the concentration camps, you know those horrible times in the concentration camps? The one thing that made the difference between the people who made it and didn't make it, because they all got the same food, which is not much, but the people that made it, the difference for them is that they had something beautiful left to do in their lifetime. That was all. The people that had hoped to be something left to do. It's a lot. And this one lady had a garden. She'd been conservation camp for 4 years, and she knew her garden was weedy. You know what I'm saying? She was imaging her garden, imaging how she's going to pluck the weeds, imaging all that. Another fellow was a violinist, and he hadn't played for 4 years. He wanted to play a concert for somebody. So when you have something beautiful enough to do, folks, you have a beautiful life. And that's the juice of the fourth dimension of living well, is to have something greater than yourself. Four dimensions of living well. The first dimension is laugh more. The second dimension is see people as people. The third dimension is give thanks, find gratitude. The fourth dimension is serve something greater than you. You know, I work with a lot of cultures that have a little problem with what I call the culture of entitlement. And the culture of entitlement is when you go to work expecting work to give you something that you're not giving yourself. And that implodes work, that implodes good cultures and good organizations. It's really a shame, because the culture that we should be celebrating is a culture of human potential, where we celebrate life and its infinite possibilities for love. I gave you a card to take with you. Please feel free to take it as a gift from me to you. On the back it says, thank you for helping Haiti. And an artist at one of the American Music Awards said, we see your halo, and we hope it will never fade away. I thought that was so beautiful. So please take this card home. There's a little message here, and I'm going to get choked up because I'm thinking about the orphans. I love kids. I love them babies. Well, I can't read it. Okay, forget it. You read it. Okay, that's it. I want to share with you my final thoughts. We have actually 10 minutes, right? It's 8 minutes? 8 minutes? Okay, I'm going to do a hot seat. I'm going to sit on the seat, and you get to ask me any question you've ever wanted to ask a motivational speaker. We have 8 minutes left. I'm way too early in my stories. But I want to close officially with this, and then I'll do the hot seat. I'll close this in a second. This is the hot seat. Okay, so you're a motivational speaker. What is it about that? I just want you to get value for your money, so pick my brain. You invested $100 to come here today. Pick my brain. We got 8 minutes. Go ahead. In the back, yeah.
I have a question. I was going to ask you personally, but I'm a person coming from the business world with a passion for health and wellness.
Yes.
And I've been trying for about 6 years to find a way to transition into that area. And specifically, one area I'm looking at is wellness life coaching.
Wonderful.
And I'm curious if you have any comments on how you can do that, how you can sort of get the credibility and the buy-in when you're coming from a business background, marketing, that sort of thing, and apply it in the wellness area. Because as somebody said this morning, I'd like to take that to work with me, not have to leave that passion at home when I go to work.
Right on. There's two questions there. One is how to bring healthy workplace stuff to the work, and two is how to do it, live what you want to do. The first thing you have to do is be the change you wish to be. You have to embody yourself. You have to be the most incredible person yourself. And people radiate to that. They go for that. So be the change you wish to be. There's a great story about Mahatma Gandhi. A lady comes to him and says, I got a problem with my son. He's eating too much sugar. He's just eating sugar all the time. Just sugar. And Gandhi says, come back in a week. I'll tell you what to do. She comes back in a week, and Gandhi gives the kids some advice. And she said, why did it take you a week to come up with that advice? He said, because I had to stop eating sugar myself. You have to be the change. And in terms of marketing, get some marketing people to brand you. I paid for this brand. I paid to get this brand, to get this look, to get this logo. So it's really important to brand you, because when you do the branding exercise, you really have to qualify to someone who doesn't know you what it is exactly is your central message. And your central message is your gift to the world. Yes, David.
You talked about those 4 principles. How do you bring those into the work that you do? How do you consciously do that? Because it seems like all 4 apply very well.
Yeah. Well, the afternoon is a personal development thing. The professional development of that is to look at how the workplace is a place that supports and nourishes those 4 elements. And those are actually only 7 of the keys of engagement. I do a lot of employee engagement work in the corporations, and those are 4 of the 7 keys to engagement. And the biggest key that I work with in the government is the service above self. Because government gets lost in the bureaucracy, people lose their sight as to what they do. People that are nurses, for example, have an acute awareness of service above self, because every single day they see the victories of making people better. But you know what they do? They need number 1. What's number 1? Taking care of yourself. Nurses are so different cultures, different responses to that. Nurses are too big-hearted. They give and give and give and give and give until they're drained. So I work with them on the first two principles, getting along with people and taking care of your body. They have no problem with service of self. They're totally linked to that. So that's not the problem. That fourth dimension is not their issue. The first two is. It depends on the culture they're working in.
If you had a question that you hope someone else would ask, what would that be?
I love this guy. Take your break. This is a motivational speaker. Let me tell you a story about Parkinson's. One of the cool things about Parkinson's, and that sounds really strange, but I'll explain to you. I actually have a talk called The Gift of Parkinson's, because having Parkinson's has been the greatest gift of my life. I don't know if you know someone that's been ill, but I'll never forget a talk I did with the Breast Cancer Foundation support group in Toronto. They were absolutely the most raucous, liveliest, joie de vivre women I've ever met in my life. And there's something beautiful about the gift of looking at death, because you live life much stronger. The quote for you was, you can measure life by the number of breaths you take, or the number of moments that take your breath away. And when you face death, there's something beautiful about that. There's something precious about it, isn't there? And I've not exactly faced death, but I certainly faced mortality. And I want to tell you a little sidebar. I'm the one that does all the diapers in the house, because when you have Parkinson's, you can't smell. So I've officially lost my sense of smell. My wife says, "It's your turn, honey." So I'm the diaper guy. And I can't smell a thing. It's really cool. Pausing another 20 seconds for another question. Yes?
It's not a question, but for people on the side that didn't get any cards, that front row has
Oh
cards.
yes, there's lots of cards up front. Come grab them. Well, folks, we can take a little break. Thank you for coming here. I do want to close with this quote. This is a dedication to you. You are the unsung heroes for the people of Haiti. They will never meet you. By your gifts and talents. And by the way, all money is gratitude. Do I have time for a short story?
As a matter of fact, you do, yes.
Okay, short story. When I do coaching work, people have an issue with money. And I did some work with this gal who was a psychic, so you can see the futures, you can tell your time and see your future, that kind of stuff. Not exactly tell your time, but see your future. And I did this work with this lady, and she had a big issue around money. She just couldn't make any money. She's a brilliant psychic. And I sat down with her and I said, ma'am, whatever her name was, I forget. I'll tell you what, you do a reading on me and I'll pay you $20 just to get the ball rolling, just to see what we can do. So she did this reading, and she said a couple of really weird things that kind of struck me. She said, "It's time to buy those boots." I said, "Okay." And she said, "It's time to move that water." And I said, "Okay." And I said, "Thank you, ma'am." And I gave her a $20 bill, and I gave her a piece of paper that said, "Thank you for that insight." And I gave them both to her. They're the same size. A piece of paper is the same size of $20 bill. And I gave them both to her, and I handed them to her. I said, "I want to thank you for that, because I was actually thinking about buying some boots for my trek up to the Everest, to the bottom. And I also have a water fountain in my office, and it dribbles all the time. I have to go to the bathroom all the time." So I've been thinking about moving it. So she was bang on. She was right on. I was kind of creepy, but I said, "Okay." So I gave her that, and I said, "Now, I gave you a $20 bill, and I gave you a thank you note, the same size of piece of paper, and you have to rip up one of them." And she wanted to rip the $20 bill up because the thank you note was more valuable to her. I took the $20 bill back, and I wrote on the $20 bill of the Queen. I'm sorry about the Queen. I wrote, "Thank you for your insights," and I gave it back to her. You see, she's got a life story, folks. She grew up with an abusive dad who was a banker. Makes sense, right? So her association with money was really broken, disconnected. But I want to share with you that all money is gratitude. And when you give money to Haiti, you give money for thanking your life. It's not just giving money to some folks that are digging on the rubble down south. It's giving money because you're thankful for your life. You're grateful for your life. So thank you for your gratitude, your gift of gratitude. Thank you for helping them be successful. And thank you for the orphans who hopefully can find for little families. I want to close with this little success quote. Please take this as a gift from me to you. It goes something like this. Follow along if you'd like to read. It's my dedication to you, and thanks for the opportunity to share with you, and thanks for coming here today. Success is to laugh often and much, to win the respect of intelligent people and the affection of children, to earn the appreciation of honest critics and endure the betrayal of false friends, to appreciate beauty, to find the best in others, to leave the world a bit better, whether by a healthy child, a garden patch, or redeemed social condition, To play with enthusiasm and sung with exultation. To know that even one life has breathed easier because you've lived. This is to have succeeded. Thank you for helping us make this day a success, folks. Enjoy the rest of the day.